Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to a very special session based on popular demand. And after so many requests, we are now here with how to fill the prelims form. This is a very interesting session because there has been a new step which has been added by UPSC itself. And now it's a 21-step process to fill the form itself. So this session is based on your demand that we should be able to have a clear understanding of how to fill the form. Think of it as a cheat code. I have gone through each and every step, the way we have to fill it. And because there are certain steps in which you have to go backwards and forwards, that is why step by step, I will cover how to fill the UPSC CSE 2023 form itself. So the purpose of this session is to first understand the new dimension, which is the OTR, one-time registration, introduced for the first time by UPSC. Thereafter, we'll understand the process, 21 steps of how to go and fill the form. And then one small discussion about mistakes you should not make whilst filling up the form, because once filled, this form is sacrosanct and cannot be changed, specifically for mains. I'll talk about 2-3 very interesting anomalies, for example, how the language changes with regards to mains, and we'll try to bring these things together and make sure that when you'll be filling the form in the next 5 to 6 days, you are totally clear. Use this session as a cheat code. Anywhere you get stuck, just come back here and check what did I do. So, what is OTR? So what UPSC has done is, because a lot of students give the CSE examination, civil services, thereafter the Indian Forest Service, they give CAPF, all organized by UPSC, every time the same name, father's name, basic data does not change. So what they thought is that let us have a system in which one-time registration can be done, in which all these data can be with the UPSC itself, and they can automatically fill it or populate this basic data as per the examination. So when you put in your ID, it automatically takes up the basic data, for example, name, father's name, mother's name, and date of birth, your mobile number, and your email ID. But remember one thing, OTR is the new thing which has been added, and this is now mandatory for any examination for UPSC. More than that, once done, it has to be only done once. You don't do OTR every time. You have to just do it once, create an ID and a password. I will show you how to. And thereafter, you don't have to do this ever again. That ID, which you will preserve, becomes throughout your career a very important marker of your identity within UPSC and your attempts also. One very important thing which UPSC has also pointed out is that OTR in itself is not applying to any examination. It's just filling up basic data with UPSC and keeping it with the UPSC for quicker application to forms. So the basic point is it's a separate dashboard for each and every examination to facilitate the applicants. In itself, it does not mean that you've applied to UPSC examination, CSE or anything. It is a one-time important process which will happen every year, but there will be already a set of users which had already done it in the last cycle. So understand this, once you generate your OTR, it doesn't mean that you've applied to UPSC or your form has been generated or anything else has happened. Now, let's go into the process. I've gone step by step. We'll try to understand how we have to go about it. So you go to the UPSC website. Thereafter, you scroll down and go to apply online. Previously, what used to happen was that as soon as you clicked apply online, you was taken to a screen on which the CSE UPSC online application.com it was. So you had the application form in front of you, you just had to click it. However, now this time it is showing this type of an understanding in which there's the concept of lateral recruitment, but you have to choose this, which is one-time registration for examination of UPSC. When you will click on this, it will take you to something like this. So as I said, I've made it as comprehensive as possible so that you don't have to go anywhere else. Now here, if you've not done it, you don't have to fill up anything. You have to go here and click on new registration, and it will take you to this type of a setup, this type of a form. This is the data which UPSC will always automatically fill up or auto-populate. So you will put your name as given in the 10th mark sheet. Twice, everything will be twice, so that you are cross-checking everything and there's no discrepancy. Because this data cannot be changed later and is very, very important and has to be like this itself. Once you will fill up everything twice, don't mess up your mobile number, email ID, use a number which is very, very relevant, not redundant, and email ID which you check regularly because every communication is going to come on that now. And thereafter, once you will actually fill it up, it will show you all the data on this side. Check it. Still things can be changed because there's an option for change here. But once you agree to it, you are technically agreeing that UPSC can hold this much data. Your date of birth, your gender, your name, your mother's name, father's name, status, mobile number, and what is your roll number, and 2 security questions if you lose your password in that sense. Once you say, I agree, thereafter, there will be a sign which will say, yes, it is successful. Now you have not done anything. You have not filled up the form. You have just done one-time submission of the one-time registration. The OTR has now been successfully submitted. Now you have to actually go back. You have to go back because you will have to come on this screen again. And this is the problematic aspect, which is that we have to go back and forth, back and forth. Now you will fill up your email ID or mobile number, get the OTP, put in the CAPTCHA, and then go for login. When you will do it for the first time, they will take you to something like this. It will have all the data here, but it will ask for a new password, which will be used at a later stage itself. Once you've set up this, then your dashboard is ready. There will be certain options on the right hand upper side. You will click on active examinations, and then finally it will show CSE 2023 form, and you have 2 options here. Edit OTR, but OTR we know the data is correct, but if still there is a doubt, check it. And if not, then you go for click here for part A. So you've now started the process of filling up the form. Till this point, the form has not been filled. You've only done the new process which UPSC has introduced. Thereafter, what you do is you say yes, you can read these instructions, very, very important. It will tell you how many MBs, what should be the size of your picture and your signature. Once you've clicked yes, now the application form will come in front of you, and the beauty of OTR is this part will be auto-populated or auto-filled because you had already done the OTR. This is what OTR is basically. In every form, this much will always be there. Now, once you have generated your unique OTR, and now UPSC will always remember that there was somebody called Abhishek Mishra, and he has the following details in that sense, and they will know gender, everything. This is a very interesting aspect, and this is something in which UPSC is centralizing all the examinations rather than having the cumbersome nature of filling up each and every form separately. In this, it's very easy. This is already filled up, no issues here. Thereafter, you have to just make sure your nationality, marital status, and if you are allowed for fee remission, your community, which category you are. Thereafter, your educational qualification. If you are a student who is in your 3rd year, you will say, I have not already passed it, the second option. And if you have already done your BTech, BA Honours or any examination, you will say already passed, and then choose the stream through which you did it. BA program students just choose the most important subject, the 2 subjects in which you specialize, choose one of them. It will be accepted as the most important graduate examination you've covered. Then your address, important, your letter of recommendation, the letter which says that you're an IAS officer will come on this address. So again, no redundant addresses, important addresses. Once you fill this up, then they will ask you, are you going for age relaxation? Most unlikely, say no, and then continue. This is the first part of part 1 done. But this is not the most important because this is already filled up for you. What is more important for you is this section which comes after this. In this section, they will ask you how many attempts have you given to the examination. An attempt is counted, and now please listen to me. If you fill up the form and don't appear in the examination, that is not an attempt. If you have never attempted, you write 0. And if you have even gone and sat for even one paper, be it GS paper 1 or GS paper 2, the two prelims papers, then it will be counted as an attempt. You fill it up, don't go, not an attempt. But you fill it up, go and give it, that's an attempt. A lot of students mess up this data because there is OTR now. Please be very clear how many attempts you have. So basic point is how many times you've gone. First time, 0, you can write 0. But if you've gone there, you filled up the form 3 times, but did not go either time, then technically it's not 3 chances, 0 chances. But if you went for even one of them, it becomes 1 chance. Now, why am I having this discussion? Is not because of this, but because of this section, which is the main section. This section doesn't change even in DAF 1 or DAF 2. Basically, once you fill it up here, you will never get a chance to change it on a date other than this, because when you clear prelims, this will again be auto-populated. Very important questions. Where will you give this? The examination itself, the mains examination. It's all mains centric. Thereafter, what is the language medium from 1 to 5? That is GS papers. Thereafter, your optional subject. Then the language of the optional subjects. And if you are from any of these states, Arunachal, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, you are exempted from the Indian language paper. If not, I will show you what are the options which will come in front of you. So here you will choose, for example, Delhi, Dehradun, Bangalore, whatever. Once you fill that up, you have to be very clear that what language you want to write in the examination. The topper this year by mistake had put Hindi here, and that is why she had to write all the GS papers in Hindi. For the first time she gave it, and second time she put English. Here you have to go for English if you don't want to go for any other Indian language. But the 8 scheduled national languages, you can use them to write the examination from 1st to 5th paper. All GS papers from essay till GS paper 4 can be written in any of these languages. I have the options in front of you so that you don't get confused. Basic concept here is mostly students go for English, but if you're comfortable with any of these languages and you want that to be the medium, the way you write GS paper essay plus the other 4 is going to be here. Now, there's a connected concept. For example, you chose English. Then you chose your optional as history. So the optional papers which are available will come in front of you. You chose history. So now they will ask you in the next option, what is the language medium for you in history? So you chose for GS paper 1 to 4, English. So it will only show English if you chose English here for history. However, you chose that I want to give the examination in Dogri. So it will give you 2 options. Do you want to write the GS paper 1 to 4 in Dogri? However, you are optional in English, but now there will be another option. For example, again, I chose Marathi as the language to write from 1 to 5. Then it will show me English and Marathi. So what this means is that between GS paper 1 to 4 plus essay, which is the first 5 papers as it says, 1 to 5, paper 1 to 5, you can choose any language. But once you choose your optional, you can give the optional in a separate language itself. So you can give GS paper or paper 1 to 5 in, for example, Hindi, but you can give the optional in English. This is a very important point I'm trying to make here because a lot of students get confused. The standard question which comes to us in class that can I give the 2 papers, the 4 main ones and 2 optionals in different languages? Yes, you can. And that is actually available here. So you can go for Dogri here, but then English here. You can go for Dogri both, but the basic point is this will never be changed. So don't take it lightly. Whatever you put in here is going to be final. And this cannot be changed in any circumstance itself. You will clear the examination, prelims examination, this will be given, and this is the data which UPSC will use. This is a very important information because a lot of students go to this stage, they don't know what to do. So if while filling up the form in the next 2 to 3 days, if you get stuck, come back here and listen to me and watch this video again if you are getting stuck here. Now, again repeating myself, English, standard, your center where you want to it. Then you choose history optional, whatever optional it is. Thereafter, you will have an English option only if you go for English, therefore no other Indian language. However, once you go for an Indian language to write paper 1 to 5, then the anomaly is that you have the language available. You can write in 2 different mediums itself. Further, as I said, one more example of this. Please don't mess up this section, very, very important section in the larger context of your preparation, because once prelim is done, this section becomes very, very relevant. And there is a smaller list of cities in which mains examination happens. The prelims examination happens in a lot of cities, smaller number of cities. Do choose a one which is close to you, where you can go within 2 to 3 hours, and you would have to stay there for 5 to 6 days. So you should have accommodation access. It should be affordable. All these things should be taken into account. For example, I'm in Delhi and I choose my CSE mains examination center as Bangalore. Then it is problematic, because then I have to 5 days, 6 days stay there, and your peace of mind needs to be totally perfect at that point of time. So don't complicate this issue. Discuss it with your parents, your friends, your guardians, that what you want to do with this section. Thereafter, once you've done with this, if you choose no, I am not coming from this states, then this language, qualifying language paper A will come. Here you would have to qualify in one of the Indian languages. And basically, the students out of this state are exempted. They don't have to give it. However, if you're not from any of these states, thereafter you would have to go with and write. So therefore you will be attempting 2 language papers, not 1. English is compulsory to all of them. But if you're from these states, only English. If you're not from the states, then 1 more Indian language. Once you've filled up this section, your part 1 is done. Still the form is not complete. This is only part 1 is done. Now you would have to again close this, go back to this menu via the process of putting in the OTP, and then again come, and you will see that part 1 has been filled, and now there will be an option for part 2. Don't mess this up, that this is not the form. Both parts have to be done together, then only it is considered a complete form. A lot of students stop here thinking that the form is done. No, you have to come to this screen. You would have to give the money, thereafter photo, signature, and also the prelims selection of the center comes here in part 2. So basically there is part 1 and part 2. Part 2, once you submit it, then you will get a message, and UPSC will be constantly messaging you through this process that first part done, complete second part. You will get emails also. Please pay attention to that. This in itself is not the form. Once you add both of them together, then it is considered complete form. Remember, you will see this screen, it still says part 1 is completed. Go for the next part. This is not the form. This is not the form complete. A lot of students stop here. You have to go again through the same process, which is you have to come to this screen again, and basically you have to log in. You have to log in here again. It will then show you this screen. Here it was only showing part 1 to us. Now it will show us that part 1 is complete, and thereafter it will show the options for part 2. Once you have done with this process, then the form is done. This is the basic process, 21 step process. This is the purpose of this discussion. Step by step, how to go about it. Please, these are the standard mistakes which students do. Fill part 1, don't fill part 2. Don't do that. Blunder, suicide, don't do that. Part 1 plus part 2 equals to the complete form. Second is keep the images and signature as given in the instruction ready, because a lot of students, when they come to the screen, then they start to look for the photos. A good clear image in which your face is very, very clearly available, along with your signature which is not blurry. Don't go with blurry and wrong images. If you have to get it clicked in the next 2 to 3 days. But make sure that the quality is good and it is within the same KBs. You can ask the person who's clicking it to convert or resize it. There's a lot of apps, there's a lot of websites which reduce or compress the size, but make sure that your image is not blurry. This is something which becomes a problem in the later date itself. Thereafter, don't put in the wrong number of attempts. If you have only filled the form and never gone to the examination, it means 0. However, if you filled the form, went for the examination, then it is 1. You've done it multiple times, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the general category, thereafter the exemptions for other categories itself. But remember for sure that filled is not considered an attempt. Only if you go and sign in the attendance in the hall itself, it is considered that. Cross check, it is your life, it is your dream. You have to pay attention. Don't be distracted. Don't keep music on. Don't keep people who distract you nearby. Go and concentrate on the form itself. Try to fill it with utmost concentration. Double check everything. You know your spelling. Check it. Check it what has been given in the 10th mark sheet. Everything is available in DigiLocker. You can get it on your phone itself. Don't have to even look for hard copy. And last but not the least, 21st February, 6 p.m. it closes. Don't be too late in filling up the form. And the most important aspect is if your city is obscure. Smaller cities have less centers, so the cities fill up very quickly. It will start to show red in that city. If you are if you're going to give this examination by traveling to a city, fill it up. I hope you've filled it up. If you haven't, after this video, go and fill it up so that there is no issues in you getting your prelims center rather than mains. Mains is secondary here right now. So with this, all the best. Our best wishes with you. We are there for you. We are always contributing to your journey. And I hope that this session has been constructive and you've at least seen a clarity of image of what to do. And if you have, do like, share and subscribe to the channel itself. Thank you so much. Take care and bye-bye.